time for you to I know, I know, I know. Gotta make a change.
Yes, it is that time. Surprise, surprise, surprise. The one and only Dr. Cornel West and the one and only Nina Turner in the same space in Harlem, New York. Doc, it's so good to be side by side with you.
Yes, blessed to have you here, and I hate to end myself. Open our hearts and minds and souls to the one and only Nina Turner in our crib overlooking 125th Street.
That part right there.
That's it.
Oh, I feel right at home. Welcome to Truth Time. We count it all joy. And I mean all joy that you are here with us on this magnificent day. Doc, I hope we can do more of this side by side.
Isn't that the truth?
And we got to get to LA so we side by side with Brother Tavis.
With Tavis. And we got to get to Cleveland.
And we got to get to Cleveland. The land, baby, let them know.
Lord,
speaking of the land, the Cavs, let them know, baby, we number one in the East. But I digress.
That's true. But that's the spirit of Gerald Levert now.
Ooh, the spirit of Gerald Levert. Talk about it. Talk about it. Talk about it.
Love that, brother.
On this day, count it all joy. So, Dr. Cornel West, you spoke at Howard University, right? What does it mean to have a voice and not an echo? So this past Sunday, Doc broke it all the way down. So we're going to analyze that, talk about that, and then feed that into an action item called the Freedom Budget for All Americans as envisioned by Asa Philip Randolph, one of the greatest labor union leaders of the 20th century, Bayard Rustin, a genius in his own right, an architect of the civil rights movement, one of them, and Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.
Yes, indeed. And that magnificent work that you are doing with the Freedom Budget, with Stokely Carmichael's name is on there, Ryan Ho Neva's name is on there, Martin Luther King Jr.'s name is on there. All of the towering freedom fighters coming together, trying to do something concrete on the ground with the budget as it relates to everyday people, poor and working people. All colors, but disproportionately black and brown, disproportionately chocolate. No doubt about that.
No doubt about it. A full-fledged plan, people. So when we hear the progressives, which is a beautiful thing, 21st century version of the progressive movement, we want folks to understand that this started on the chocolate side of town, the universal health care, guaranteed income, farm parity, baby, you name it, it was in the Freedom Budget for All Americans. But God, before we get there, before we get to your speech at the Howard University, what's on your heart, soul, and mind on this day?
I'm trying to wrestle with what it means to live in a decaying and declining empire that is so driven by gangster sensibilities, where they really believe that empathy is an enemy and cruelty is a strategy and fear is a tool to manipulate people to consent to their own oppression.
Wow.
And the question becomes, how do we intervene with a spiritual, moral, and political moment of interruption to get people to see and feel and want to act differently so they can see the connection between genocide in Gaza, with military budget around the world, and the billionaires at home creating a hemorrhaging with a grotesque wealth inequality where more and more money goes from poor and working people to the well-to-do, and the well-to-do already have more than they need and will ever be able to spend. So for me, the question is perennial one. What do we say and do and feel and act such that we can be a witness for people to see that things can be different? The nightmarish conditions do not have to have the last word.
It shouldn't. But you got to be conscious. People got to be conscious. They got to have an awareness.
You got to be having awareness.
That you're being done wrong.
That's part of the awakening.
Yeah.
And they've got to be able to see it rather than just hear people talk about it. They want to see sermons rather than hear sermons. They want examples rather than just precepts. And that's the difficult thing. But that's the wonderful thing about our dear sister. You see, it's hard to find someone of her generation who reaches a level of consistent integrity and persistent honesty and longevity of deep love for the people. That's our dear sister Nina Turner herself in the flesh, sitting in the crib of Anahita and Cornel in Harlem with Truth Time.
Truth time on KBLA.
Ooh,
Talk
yes,
1580.
yes.
When we come forward, we're going to continue this. You're listening to Truth Time.
Speaking truth to power. And to the power. This is Truth Time with Dr. Cornel West and Nina Turner. Before the fire, Altadena was a real life Wakanda. A thriving black oasis just 15 miles from downtown Los Angeles. 80% black residents were homeowners, building intergenerational wealth against the odds. It was a hub of black-owned businesses, churches, and cultural institutions. It stood as a symbol of black resilience and economic independence. Then, in a matter of hours, it was gone. The fire tore through homes, swallowed businesses, and left behind a painful void. But was it just an unstoppable act of nature, or was negligence involved? Did officials ignore early warning signs? Were the response efforts delayed or insufficient? What role, if any, did corporate or government failures play? Survivors are demanding answers. Don't miss our KBLA Talk 1580 Town Hall. The Eaton Altadena Fire, 100 days and counting, on Wednesday, April 16th, 4 to 6 p.m. at the Robinson Park Recreation Center, 1081 North Fair Oaks in Pasadena. Join Dominic DePrima, Nee Cordelai Corte, James Farr, Tavis Smiley, and a panel of survivors, community leaders, and experts as we commemorate day 100 since the wildfires flared up, and we discuss where we go from here. It's KBLA's Eaton Altadena Fire, 100 days and counting Town Hall, Wednesday, April 16th, 4 to 6 p.m. at the Robinson Park Recreation Center in Pasadena. Light refreshments to follow. Admission is free, but sign up is required at our KBLA1580.com website. The first 100 attendees will receive a complimentary air purifier. This is a community call to action brought to you by KBLA Talk 1580 and Quinn Emanuel Trial Lawyers. At KBLA Talk 1580, we've got your black.
Febreze. As a rideshare driver, I love keeping my car smelling fresh and clean. So when I'm driving, I only trust Febreze car vent clips, featuring 3 distinct intensity settings, because it's that little touch that sets me apart. I can turn the intensity down for subtle freshness, or I can turn it up for when I want lots of scent. So whether it's set to low, medium, or high, with Febreze car, I know my car's going to smell amazing. Which keeps my driver rating right where it belongs. Picking up, Oscar!
To thine own self be true. More of Truth Time with Dr. Cornel West and Nina Turner coming your way right now on KBLA Talk 1580.
Yep, you are. If you are watching us today and not just listening, believe your eyes. Yes, the great Dr. Cornel West and Nina Turner are in the same space today in Harlem, New York. I count it all joy, not just to have them with us, but for you and me to be side by side.
Well, it is a blessing to have you here and to be able to be together. You all hear us all the time together with my dear sister in Cleveland and me here in New York, even though sometimes I'm on the road.
I know, me too.
Well, that's true, too.
Yeah, we always
You
on
was
the road.
too. That is
yes,
true. That's
yes.
right. I forgot about that in Atlanta.
Yeah, the
ATL and so forth. Very, very much so.
South Carolina
Too. We both
yeah.
on the move.
On the move, spreading the good news.
Spreading the good news.
Going into the highways and the byways.
We have to be a part of the cloud of witnesses.
There we do. And speaking of being in the cloud of witnesses, Doc, you did your thing, right? You gave the speech, and the headline is for Howard University. Dr. West asked us to have a voice, not an echo in times such as these. So, Doc, you were at the Andrew Rankin Memorial Chapel at Crampton Auditorium, and they served as a host. They hosted you there on April the 6th as the featured speaker at its Sunday service. And Dr. West, who has spoken at Howard numerous times over the last 30 years, I cannot believe it. It's been all those years. You have written several books, over 20 books. My entree unto you was Race Matters.
Yes, yes, yes.
College student at a book signing for Dr. Cornel West. And who would have thought all these years later that you and I, and we've shared this story briefly, would be on the campaign trail for Senator Bernie Sanders. I can't tell you how much to be in the presence of one of my heroes, to have you sign my book. And I want folks to know you are just as humble. You are the Dr. Cornel West, and he is just as humble for a college student as he is for me with a few fancy titles to this day, Doc. And I will never forget that. You made everybody who came up to you to get that book signed feel as though we were the center of the universe. And that is a gift because you are intergalactical. You're the intergalactic intellectual. That's what I call Dr. West.
Lord.
So you said be a voice and not an echo, Doc. You want to break that down?
Lord, well, I tell you, I've told my precious young people at Howard the same thing I tell you. I'm a cracked vessel trying to love my crooked neighbor with my crooked heart.
Me too. What he said.
Oh, yes. But the beautiful thing is we part of the same tradition of Black folk, just trying to lift our voices, not just be echoes of silos, but voices tied to a love and a freedom and a joy and a healing.
Yeah.
And I've been blessed to be at Howard now for 37 years. My dear brother, Reverend Dr. Brother Richardson, Bernard Richardson, who I met as a graduate student, he was at Yale, that he's been now head there for almost about 20. No, I think he's probably about 32 because it was Evans Crawford, Reverend Evans Crawford, who was the first brother who invited me. He's only been 4 chaplains at Yale. Howard Thurman, the great teacher of Martin Luther King Jr., was the first one there, 1931, and then his brother named Daniel Hill, the hero of Jesus and the Disinherited. Martin Luther King Jr.'s favorite text. You see him? See him right there?
I do.
There's him right there.
I do.
His handsome self.
Yeah.
Full of mystic and social activist, the great Howard Thurman himself. And so just being able to go every year to Howard, just to spend time with the precious young people, it's a beautiful thing. And I was just trying to tell them, you're dealing with gangster activity coming out of the White House. Yeah. So you got to always specialize in de-gangsterizing any context, keeping the love and justice there rather than the greed and the hate. And I said, and they're trying to niggerize Black people. So we got to specialize in de-niggerizing Black people. Instead of trying to convince us we inferior, less beautiful, less moral, and less intelligent, we got to say love, respect. We don't need to put others down. We fall back on our great tradition for our love, for our self-respect. And the young folk, they
picked up what you were putting down.
They got into it. And I said, Jesus deniggerizes you. Take out the fear. Take out any kind of inferiority complex. Straighten your back up and be a force for good. In the same way, then I went through all the Howard folk. Toni Morrison, Stokely Carmichael, Donny Hathaway, Roberta Flack, Felicia Rashad. We can go on and on and on. And I did a special thing for Larry Morris. He's my very, very dear brother, who board of the trustees at Howard, who actually played a role in choosing a new president. They got a new president at Howard. Okay. Yeah, Brother Ben Vinson. I think he's the third now. Ben Vinson the third. He's the new president. I went to Dartmouth undergrad, Columbia, PhD. And he's going to do a good job, I think. Come on, we rooting for But you know, Howard got 40,000 applications. They could only choose 2,300. And just a few years ago, they only had 15. Yeah. That's so they got a renaissance going on. Yeah, they do. That was my dream school. Is that right? I'm revealing it to you. Oh, that's interesting. You thought about going on. But because of life circumstances. Yes, yes. My mother died at the young age of 42. God bless her. And her name was? Faye Emerson. Faye Emerson. She'll never forget Faye Emerson. Her. And I'm the oldest of 7 children. And she died at the time that I went back to college. I started, and first generation just stopped going because life got in the way, and found my way back, thank the Lord. And my mom died when I was a sophomore at Cuyahoga Community College. And I remember coming home from school in the olden days. There was no text messages, and there was a refrigerator. There was a note on the refrigerator door telling me to go to the hospital. Yeah, and I got there, and when I told the nurse who I was, she jumped up. She led me to this room called the family room. All my siblings were already there, and I have one brother. He's 6 feet 5 inches tall, and I put emphasis on that because he was crying like a baby.
and I had seen him cry since he was a little boy. And the doctor came in and told us that our mother was in a coma. And then about a week later or so, she said, "You're the oldest, and I gotta tell you, your mom's not coming out of this coma." And my mama was a Christian, was a speaker. I'm a Baptist Costal.
Lord,
she was a preacher.
Have mercy, have
and,
mercy.
We were believing like when Mary and Martha said, Jesus, had you been here?
Yes.
We believed so strongly. I remember my siblings and I walking around my mama's bed, and this is hot. I mean, I rarely tell the story in this deep way. Yeah. And we was calling on God for a miracle for our mom.
Oh Lord, yeah.
And it didn't happen. And the doctor said she ain't coming out of the coma.
Mm.
And she said only the machine is keeping your mother alive. And because you're the oldest, you got to make the decision to pull the plug.
Oh Lord.
And I've never been the same.
You're putting a smile on her face. You're putting a smile on her face. That's the good news.
That is the good news, Doc. That's a long way for me to tell you I wanted to go to and I'm trying to hold back the tears,
No, I hear you. I hear you. Good God Almighty.
So my mom never lived to see her oldest daughter do some pretty incredible things in this world.
True.
But I know in the spiritual plane.
She sees it looking over the porch of heaven.
On the spiritual plane, I know
the
that's
spirit, her spirit, all inside of you and part of her afterlife operating in your life.
Yeah.
You end up professor at the very college
that I started, Cuyahoga Community College. And thank God my dad is still in the physical plane to bear witness. You've met my dad.
Met your beloved father. Love that brother.
And life happens. So my parents, they got divorced. So my mom was the custodial parent. And my dad is a brilliant, beautiful man.
Yes,
life happens.
Yes, he is.
And it was just hard. And I miss my mom every single day. So the people who still got their mamas or mama to complain about, count it all. Please count your blessings.
Count your blessings.
I wish my mama was here.
No,
and 42 years old is very young to die. You know what I mean? And I reflect on that. And so because of that, and me having to take on the responsibility in my early 20s to really raise my siblings, my youngest sister was 12. I could not leave Cleveland.
And that's where the inability to be able to go to DC, Howard, and so forth.
Yeah. Now, some years later, I was blessed to do a workshop. So I got me a little certificate, from Howard University. Came around full circle.
But your senior lecture fellow at the New
School
New
Institute.
York City.
Come on.
We looking at Columbia University
Howard,
right there.
There we are. And political economy
we talking
under
about.
the leadership of Dr. Derek Hamilton, who's one of the coldest stratification economists on this planet.
Magnificent brother and scholar.
Scholar and moral,
So your mama's legacy is strong as ever.
As
ever.
I appreciate deference. I'm proud of myself because sometimes I just bawl like a baby when I think about it. You know that song in the Christian tradition, How I Got Over?
How I Got Over, Clara Ward. My soul looks back and wonders how I got over.
How I got over. Wow. Long way for me to say. Love me some Howard University. So that you were there. And I got to quote something that you said. You said, we must not allow the mainstream to reduce our music just to entertainment. They are not just singing to stimulate and titillate you. They are singing to speak deep inside of your heart and soul. Black music is the greatest tradition in the modern world of spiritual fortitude, artistry, artistic creativity, and moral courage. The one and only Dr. Cornel West. They not just singing to entertain you.
That's the truth. And I was referring to the choir. I was just paying tribute to the choir. I said, these musicians are not ornamental, they're decorative, they're constitutive and integral to who we are as a people in preserving our sanity and our dignity in the face of all of this hatred and terror and trauma. And so I just had the choir to stand up.
Yeah.
It wasn't just entertaining us in the brother on the piano, on the drums. They ain't just stimulating folk. They creating forces that sustain us, given all of this mess that we got to deal with. You are absolutely. I forgot I said that.
You said that. No, they quoted that, Doc. You went on to say when Roberta Flack of Howard University died, she didn't just Wow, yes, we had a little technical difficulty, but we are back. We are back. So that you went on to say that when Roberta Flack of Howard University died, she didn't die as an entertainer. She died as a soul sharing. Died as a soul sharing that affected us and helped us preserve our sanity and our dignity. And that's true for her friend Donny Hathaway too. Black genius. You talked about black genius.
Oh yeah, black greatness and black genius. Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And the message that you really wanted the young people and the young adjacent people.
The young adjacent.
I'm a young adjacent.
You can stretch that out. 30, 35, 40, 45.
Young adjacent.
Lord have mercy.
What was that? Can we get a recap of really?
Well, the name of my sermon was In Times Like These. And I started with a song. In times like these, we need an anchor. And you have to have an anchor that holds and grips the solid rock. All other ground is seeking sand. And that solid rock I talked about was how Jesus was appropriated by these particular black folk in a prophetic way that followed him all the way into the temple that overturned the money changers in the name of a poor people, not hatred of the rich, but hatred of greed and hatred of those who hate other people rather than just hating people.
That's right.
And then connected to the cross, because I talked a bit about Martin and Fannie Lou, and the cross is not something that you talk about. It's not even something you bear, but it's something you die on.
That preaches. Not something you bear. Something you die on.
You got to be willing to live and die.
Yeah.
For something bigger than you. Then I talked about those who had given so much to us, coming out of both Howard. And I told the Howard folk, I said, I know you all think highly of yourselves, and rightly so.
Rightly so.
But you ain't produced no Curtis Mayfield or Aretha Franklin.
Is that the measure?
No John Coltrane and Sarah Vaughan. So you better check yourself
before you rank yourself.
And I said I was at Lamont Honor College in Memphis the day before because of the King celebrating commemorations
of the assassination.
And Lamont is older than Howard. You see.
Okay.
I was 1867, just like Morehouse's. In 1864 was Lamont. And so I said, I know y'all say you're the oldest. No, you're not the oldest. You're one of the grandest. But Lamont was there before Howard was.
Yeah.
Check yourself.
You setting the record straight.
You gotta let him know.
Laying out the chronology.
You got to be Socratic when you're prophetic. All of us need self-criticism so we don't become self-righteous. But it was a beautiful thing. It really was. The people responded so strong.
How blessed. I mean, really, how blessed are those young people? And you continuing your tradition.
That's right.
To be at the Howard.
The Grand Howard University.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. When we come forward, we will continue this conversation. You are listening to Truth Time. Okay, now
will set you free, but first it might raise your blood pressure.
I'm not driving you, man.
More of Truth Time with Dr. Cornel West and Nina Turner when we come forward.
I'm Amber Payton with 4 Things You Should Know with BIN News. President Trump is pausing some tariffs for 90 days and says he will lower reciprocal tariffs during that time. But he is also hiking tariffs on China to 125%. Critics say the move could raise prices, especially in Black communities already facing economic pressure. Florida's Board of Education has approved new rules to remove DEI and critical race theory from teacher prep programs, aiming to eliminate what officials call woke concepts. The Trump administration is freezing nearly $2 billion in funding for Cornel, Northwestern, and Princeton. Officials say it's over claims of racial discrimination tied to diversity efforts. And Black Baltimore Mayor Brandon Scott has announced the AFRAM 2025 lineup featuring Patti LaBelle, Saweetie, Vito, Juvenile, and more. The Juneteenth celebration is one of the East Coast's largest Black culture festivals, drawing up to 200,000 people. Get BIN News on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Think It Up is an initiative to activate student-powered, teacher-led learning projects. Students and teachers, how can you spark great learning experiences in your classrooms today? Join at thinkitup.org.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The Lakers have to regroup in a hurry after a demoralizing loss Tuesday night at Oklahoma City. The Lakers have a highly emotional game tonight in Dallas. It's the first return to Dallas for Luka Doncic after he was traded to the Lakers for Anthony Davis on February 1st. Doncic played his first 5.5 NBA seasons with Dallas. His tune-up last night for tonight's game ended early. Doncic was ejected with 7 minutes left in the third quarter after getting 2 technical fouls. Doncic had 23 points and 5 assists before he was tossed. The Lakers and Dallas tip off at 4:30 on ESPN. The Clippers extended their winning streak to 5 with a 122-117 win over San Antonio at the Intuit Dome in Inglewood. 24 points and 20 rebounds for Ivica Zubac. The Clippers moved into a 4-way tie for 4th place in the Western Conference with Denver, Golden State, and Memphis. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio. That's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
Hi, I'm Ray Richardson, your sports connection here at KBLA Talk 1580. Join me and my co-host Neil Scarborough every Saturday night at 7 for Out of Bounds, the show that brings some flavor to the world of sports for 60 minutes. We take you beyond the scores and press conferences. We give you our point of view, the way black folks see what's going down. You can join the conversation and give us your analysis at 1-800-920-1580. Out of Bounds every Saturday night at 7 on KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
Unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got your black.
You like your style, dog.
This is a story of the one. As a maintenance specialist for university housing, he knows college students can major in wear and tear. Plus, housing so many students doesn't leave a lot of room to house all the supplies he needs. That's where Grainger comes in. With over 1 million industrial-grade products and fast, dependable delivery, Grainger carries the quality products he needs so he doesn't have to. From a new door hinge to a whole new faucet. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
It's tax season, and at LifeLock, we know you're tired of numbers. But this one you need to hear. $16.5 billion. That's how much money in refunds the IRS flagged for possible identity fraud last year. Now, here's a good number. 100 million. That's how many data points LifeLock monitors every second. If your identity is stolen, we'll fix it guaranteed. Oh, one last number. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code NEWS. Visit LifeLock.com for the threats you can't control. Terms apply.
Hi, I'm Dominique DePrima, and it's almost time to celebrate KBLA's 4th anniversary, coming up Juneteenth 2025. We'll be marking the achievement with 4 key community events, including a special symposium, luncheon, and brain trust hosted by me entitled The State of Black Women in Los Angeles. Keep it locked here for details on how to join us for this groundbreaking symposium examining the unique challenges, triumphs, and contributions of Black women in Los Angeles in the areas of education, healthcare, community leadership, cultural and political contributions. This public convocation will provide a critical forum to address the specific social, economic, and political realities facing Black women in LA today. We'll go live with a radio broadcast and YouTube live stream, a public discussion, and a private dialogue with some of LA's most impactful women. It's an affirmation of Black women standing at the intersection of race and gender in times of adversity while demonstrating remarkable resilience and leadership. We will listen and we will speak out and be heard, all in service of finding opportunities and solutions. Please plan to join us in celebrating our 4th anniversary by amplifying the voices of Black women. For more on our symposium and 4 events celebrating 4 years on the air, simply stay tuned or keep an eye on KBLA1580.com and help make this Juneteenth more jubilant with all of us at KBLA Talk 1580.
This is where love and truth meet.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful.
You're listening to Truth Time with Dr. Cornel West and Nina Turner.
Yes, we are. We're so glad you're here with us. We count it all joy. If you have come forward with us, thank you so much. If you are just now joining us, thank you so much. And you can go back and listen to the top of the show. Download the KBLA Talk app. Do that, and wherever you get your podcast, you can check us out at all the great shows on this network, on this station. So, Doc, we going right about this time. We go right to our YouTube live chat, and it is jumping in here per usual. Blessed Peacemaker in the house per usual. God bless you all. But before that, Blessed Peacemaker stated, that's a room I'd love to be in. And we would love for you to be in this room with us as well. So God blessing everybody. And when 2 or more are gathered.
Ooh, somewhere I read. My biblical text tells
Come
me.
on, Blessed Peacemaker. That part right there. We got Selena Ricks. Good afternoon, everyone. It's truth time. Amen. Amen. Pastor Harold put a whole bunch of smiley faces up, and then he said, that's why you're so strong, Senator. I think in reaction to the story about my mom.
Oh, now that's those some powerful words.
There
right
are. I appreciate that, Pastor.
So just read that one more time.
He said, that's why you are so strong, Senator.
Yes.
And then he said, that cloud of witnesses.
That cloud of
Pastor
witnesses.
in here doing some stuff.
Lord have mercy.
In here doing some stuff. Loving it so much. Blessed Peacemaker back up again at bat. Thanks for telling your story, Senator Turner. Your mom is still cheering you on. Y'all, it's going to make me cry now. Listen, I had a few tears welled up, but I was trying not to go all the way. We got Sister Selena Ricks. My condolences, Senator. Nina, praise God. You made it through. I know that's right.
Oh, isn't that the truth?
It is.
Though?
You know, everybody got testimony though, Doc. I know mine is not the only.
Yours is a powerful
testimony.
one, though. It's a powerful one.
You know, people go through stuff. They go through stuff.
Lord.
Blessed Peacemaker said, I listened to your sermon today, talking about you, Doc. Beautiful call to the cross.
Is that right?
Yeah. And then Sister Selena, back up in here. This show is so inspiring. You both have great chemistry. Thank you, Sister Selena. And wonderful to see you both in the same room. And it just goes on and on and on. Let me tell you something. Nice. All y'all special to us. And that's why Dr. West and I, we make the time to acknowledge you.
And I was saying my blood brother, the one and only Clifton West, who was the most king-like, Coltrane-like, and Christ-like person I know in the world. I've known him for 71 years. He's been around for 73. He said he been trying to send his note and can't get it through. So all of y'all are able to get through and he can't get through. But that's all right. I know he gonna work it out.
We got to show brother Clifton West how to get on it in here.
We love him. Though.
Yeah, we do.
Sending
so much love. Sending that love. So that we you talked about, in your speech, be a voice and not an echo. Can you break that? Is that being a shadow? Is that just dipping your toe in? You're not willing to go all the way?
Yeah, I think an echo is an extension of a silo, which is nothing but an imitation and an emulation of what one has heard. Whereas a voice is singular.
Yeah.
A voice is like your fingerprint. A voice comes from wrestling with the dark corners of your own soul and all of your sufferings and anxieties and hurts and transfigured into that voice. When Billie Holiday sings Strange Fruit, that's her distinctive voice. She ain't imitating anybody.
Yeah.
And she takes us to the dark roots of the scream and allows us to ascend to the celestial heights where her music is.
Sure.
So that's why the jazz woman, blues woman, They're finding their voices. We have to find our voices in terms of our vocation. That's what I was telling the young folk at Howard. And these days, it's hard to find voices. You turn media, everything's predictable. You know what they're going to say. That's just echoes of silos and bubbles.
Yeah.
The voices are voices of truth, of integrity, of honesty, of decency, of justice. Those are the voices that, in the end, represent the best of who we are as a species, let alone as a country, let alone as a Black people. And so that's really what I had in mind. That's why our anthem is lift every voice, lift every echo. You see,
all our pain, we still say lift every voice.
Still lift.
We didn't say just lift the Black voices.
Every voice.
We said lift every voice and sing.
Every voice.
Oh man.
We start on the chocolate side.
We got to start on the chocolate side.
Vanilla and every other country, because they human beings just like us.
Just like us. Thinking about and having you reflect for us, giving us some highlights of your sermon. It reminded me of Charles Hamilton Houston. Now, he didn't tell his law class not to be a voice and not an echo, but in so many words, he did say that. Because he said, don't be a parasite.
That's right. He
said, if you're not a social engineer, you're a parasite on your people. I think he was saying the same thing. Be a voice.
Same thing. In fact, that's the legal eloquence that he had. Howard University. With his student, Thurgood Marshall, Paula Murray. Oh, he had a whole wave of students coming out of Howard. Absolutely. But on the same love train. Same justice train.
To say to people who have the greatest access and opportunity, they were Black, but greater access and opportunity because you're in law school, that you have a duty to be a social engineer. And if you don't do it, he didn't even give them a way out. If you don't do it, you're a parasite. Oh, Lord.
That's
some serious kind of checking some folks.
That's a serious critique. When you look around right now, you see too many.
We got a lot of parasites.
I'm telling you.
Got a lot of parasites.
A parasite ain't nothing but a peacock.
Just strutting.
Looking at their foliage.
Can't fly.
And he can't fly. And we saying we looking for fruit, not foliage.
That's it.
And your fruit is your courage, your deed, your unbelievable prophetic witness, like Charles Hamilton Houston. Harvard Law. Back to Howard Law and creates the foundation for the struggle for Brown v. Board of
Doc,
Education.
you took the word. See, you and I, we right here.
I
was just about to say that.
Say same thing.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know that. He died before.
But you know what was distinctive about him? He was rooted in the labor movement.
Him too.
And that's different than Thurgood. Thurgood was a magnificent, unbelievable jurist and legal mind, but Thurgood didn't appreciate social movements, so he was very critical of King.
Sure.
Whereas Charles Hamilton Houston, because he was rooted in the labor movement and the critique of American apartheid and the critique of American German Jane Crow, that he understood the crucial role that legal legislation could play, but also the crucial role that social movements can make on the ground and the streets.
So he navigated all those spaces.
He's very much like you. Your witness. It's true.
Well, that's a high honor, Doc. I think of before he became the first African American Supreme Court Justice of the United States of America, he argued before the Supreme Court. Yes, I believe he won. Somebody check it out for me. 29 or 30-something cases.
He won a lot of them.
He was bad.
But he was unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Knew how to work this system.
He knew how to work it. There's a brother named Rifkin, who's at Columbia. I think he's the only one who had more cases before the Supreme Court than they won.
Oh, wow.
So Thurgood's legal mind and his heart was just extraordinary.
Just extraordinary. Can y'all imagine that 29 cases? Somebody go check me out now. I think it was 29. He might as well just went ahead and spent the night at the Supreme Court, at the United States Supreme Court. Never went nowhere because he
fighting
was
for black folk, fighting for justice.
Yeah.
Then when Clarence Thomas took his seat,
he didn't want him to have his seat.
Man. Tell you,
that's what made me understand when Thurgood Marshall said, "No, this ain't the one. This ain't the brother." I'm like, okay. The Honorable Thurgood Marshall said,
"Part of the legacy that I had in mind." Now, Clarence got a right to be wrong. The problem is he's so powerful. That the wrong decisions that he facilitates and he makes
Generational
has
impact.
such negative
Generational.
impact, I think,
Generational negative impact.
on both
When we come
democracy
forward,
and
Doc, when we
society.
come forward, we're gonna continue this conversation. We're gonna mix in the freedom budget for all America, and you're listening to Truth Time.
With Dr. Cornel West and Nina Turner on KBLA Talk 1580. 1580.
After producing an award-winning climate justice campaign in 2024, KBLA Talk 1580 has gone all in on its 2025 Climate Justice plus Black Health Initiative. April is Minority Health Month, and Urban Family Focus, in partnership with Providence Health Systems, presents The Heart of the Matter. Providence doctors and health equity officers will participate in informative and life-changing conversations on hypertension, health equity, behavioral health, and community engagement. Don't miss these empowering conversations on Urban Family Focus every Saturday in April at 7 and Sunday at 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Sponsored by Providence, Southern California's largest and most comprehensive health care network. We've got a lot to talk about on KBLA Talk 1580. Download the KBLA 1580 app or log in to KBLA1580.com. I'm Reverend Gerald, the life coach. On KBLA Talk 1580, we've got your black.
This is Stevie Wonder, calling on Los Angeles property owners to help get unhoused veterans off the street. If you're a property owner or know someone who is, consider accepting veteran housing vouchers. You will receive guaranteed rent while providing a stable and safe home. Help end veteran homelessness and make a real difference in people's lives.
Learn more by emailing houseourvets@lacity.org.
We ask seniors how to prevent Medicare scams.
My best advice, if you get a phone call, do not talk to the person. These people are well trained. Don't talk to them.
They don't know me. They're just trying to scam me.
Don't be fooled. Hang up. Just hang up.
Never give out your Medicare number.
They're going to get your number and put in a false claim.
If I get a call from someone, I don't pick up the phone. And should I pick up the phone and they ask for information, then I hang up.
How do you detect Medicare fraud?
Just like I check my credit card statements, I check my Medicare statements monthly.
Scammers can get a hold of your number, order medical devices through your account, and you're not even going to know about it if you don't look at your statement.
Check your statement every month. If you get your statement and you see something that you know you did not have done, you report it.
Call your Senior Medicare Patrol.
To report Medicare fraud, call the Senior Medicare Patrol at 855-613-7080.
Truth to Earth shall rise again. You're listening to Truth Time with Dr. Cornel West and Nina Turner, only on KBLA Talk 1580.
Yes, you are, and definitely Truth Question to Earth shall rise again. We are all the cloud of witnesses on that. So good to be side by side with the one and only Dr. Cornel West in his very library office, looking right in Harlem, the historic Harlem, New York. Doc, so great to be here with you. We left off, we were reading some of our live chats from our faithful who come live every single day to see us do what we do. And to all of you, everybody doesn't necessarily chime in. Some people are driving, so they're not watching, they're listening. We're grateful for all of you.
Every one of them.
Because you could be doing something else.
Isn't that the truth?
They listening to us on KBLA Talk 1580, the one and only Tabby Smiley. So one more, B. Bell of Bad Dog Bullies. Tickles me every single time. I don't care, I can read it 1,000 times and be tickled. Out and about, but had to check in with my truth tellers, soldiers for solidarity and curators of community. If loving y'all is wrong, we don't want to be right. Go on, B. Bell.
B. Bell is a poet,
a poet,
a lyricist.
Yes, I'm with that. If loving you is wrong, I don't want to be right. And speaking of love, that so few people know about the freedom budget for all Americans as envisioned by Asa Philip Randolph, one of the greatest union leaders of the 20th century, Bayard Rustin, a cold activist and organizer and orchestrator for the civil rights movement, and Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. So the civil rights movement was not just about, and I'm not minimizing, the march was important, but they also understood the economic portion of a movement that was meant to lift Black people because of the degradation and the inhumane treatment, and that's putting it lightly, that Black people suffered for over 400 years in the United States of America. So it may surprise people to know that the Freedom Budget for All Americans, when they hear some of the tenets of what progressives in the 21st century talk about, it was already envisioned in the 20th century. Asa Philip Randolph, the leaders of this, the architects, if you will, of this, believed that the United States of America as a hegemon nation had all that was necessary to eradicate poverty in 10 years from 1966 to 1976. They laid out a plan,
step by step,
to do just that.
That's exactly
in
right.
1966.
That's why I am so glad that you and your own visionary leadership and organization are picking up on this freedom budget. Brother Tavis used to say all the time, and he still does, every budget is a moral document.
That's right.
It reflects the priorities that you have and the vision that you put forward. And to bring that back from 1966 to now on the way to 2026 and say, given all the analysis out there, we need something concrete that says we quit spending all that money on the military.
That's right.
Make sure the redistribution of wealth from the well-to-do to working and poor people has a mechanism in which, in budgetary terms, poverty is eliminated, full employment with quality across the board, healthcare for all. That is as concrete as we can get. And that's why this freedom budget is crucial.
It's so
I'm so glad that you have been working on it, my dear
for
sister.
all Americans. They made it clear all means all, and they understood that disproportionately Black people were suffering. Bayard Rustin once said, this country never has and never will do anything solely for the Negro. And this is why we call it the freedom budget for all Americans, pulling everybody in. I mean, farm parity.
Yeah, for our precious farmers and for the Black farmers, Brother Larry Lucas and others who play such an important role.
Sure.
Would be very much in on that as well.
Very much ahead of their time. And what we added to it, because it's so concrete. I mean, they wrote, I call it SMART goals. SMART goals wasn't a thing back then, but that's exactly what they did. When we come forward, Dr. Cornel West and myself, we will continue laying out the freedom budget for all Americans. This is Truth Time, baby.
The station you turn to when you had it up to gear with cultural incompetence. KBLA Talk 1580. KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA Talk 1580 reminds you that we keep us safe. Every girl deserves a chance to shine. That's the belief behind Forgiving for Living, Inc. Since 1999, this organization has been empowering at-risk girls ages 13 to 18, helping them overcome behavioral and mental health challenges. Founder Wendy Gladney's personal journey inspired the mission to give girls hope and purpose through the power of forgiveness. Through their ambassador program, workshops, and annual conference, Forgiving for Living has touched over 3,000 young lives, providing mentoring, life skills, training, and tools for building self-esteem and confidence. You can make a difference. Visit forgivingforliving.org to donate, volunteer, become a mentor, or find help for a young girl in need. Forgiving for Living, Inc., building brighter futures for young girls. Visit forgivingforliving.org today. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. The Autopsy Initiative provides a second autopsy free of charge for victims' families who have lost their loved ones due to a police-related death. The services offered through the initiative include the completion of a second autopsy, disclosure of preliminary findings, and a final autopsy report. A police-related death is when an individual is harmed by police officers using deadly force, which results in an individual's death. Police-related death includes in-custody deaths, including those that arise during contact with law enforcement officers during arrest, pursuit,
booking, transport, or incarceration. The Autopsy Initiative has a team of board-certified pathologists on call. An autopsy request may be completed by anyone with a close relationship with the victim, which may include the victim's spouse, partner, relative, close friend, or lawyer. To request a free second autopsy for a victim of police violence, please visit knowyourrightscamp.com. That's knowyourrightscamp.com. Then click on Autopsy, then click on Request. At KBLA, we believe in justice for victims of police violence. We say their names, and we don't black down. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Life blooms in beautiful ways. The Afia Center invites you to celebrate at the end with Red Gala, honoring the strength and resilience of Black women living with HIV. Join us for an evening of empowerment as we launch the Barbara Cambridge Scholarship and kick off Herstory Month with our theme, Life in Full Bloom. Your support helps create vital HIV programming and builds a future where every voice is heard and every story matters. The end with Red Gala, because every flower deserves to bloom.
To learn more and to donate, visit theafiacenter.org.
This is where love and truth meet.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful.
You're listening to Truth Time with Dr. Cornel West and Nina Turner.
Oh my God, we cannot believe. Like, we got about 4 more minutes left in this particular show. So we're going to wind this thing up. We're going to have to talk about the freedom budget again, Doc. But the freedom budget for all Americans, just a little bit of what they said. As Asa Philip Randolph put it, here in these United States where there can be no economic or technical excuse for poverty. He said, you know what? We ain't even gonna let you have no excuse for it. We a hegemon nation and we need health care. We need farm parity. We need a guaranteed income. When people hear guaranteed income, they think somebody just thought of that now. They laid this thing out, and what we're doing at the Institute for Race, Power, Political Economy, as well as We Are Somebody, is really putting the 21st century emphasis on it. No dark money in politics.
Crucial.
We're dealing with the environmental part, just adding to this brilliance. The Freedom Budget is a practical step-by-step plan for wiping out poverty in America the next 10 years. That was 1966, 1977. It will mean more than money in your pocket. It will mean better schools for your children. It will mean better homes for you and your neighbors. It will mean clean air to breathe and comfortable cities to live in. It will mean adequate medical care when you are sick, and on and on. This is what these brothers said in the late 1960s. So, Doc, Professor Reinhold Niebuhr, was one of the original signers of the Freedom Budget for all Americans at Union.
This is what he looks like right here. Yeah. This is his classic, Moral Man and Immoral Society.
Wow.
I was blessed to write the foreword.
Yes, you did.
But he
was one of the signers.
He was one of the signers. He's the towering Christian ethicist of the 20th century. We got Gary Dory in the 21st century here at Union too. I was blessed to be in the same office as Reinhold Niebuhr when I first started teaching in 1977.
Wow. You know, we're going to go and visit.
Reinhold Niebuhr. He's also a democratic socialist. He was also deeply influential for Martin Luther King Jr. Martin Luther King Jr. talked about Niebuhr all the time. At his height, he was the most influential Christian thinker. And so when he signed, like Stokely Carmichael, like by Rustin, like Ozzie Davis, like Ruby Dee, like Martin Luther King Jr., you can rest be assured on the great Dorothy Irene Height. Absolutely.
Come on.
You can rest be assured that they were not allowing any kind of gangster-like sensibility, any kind of hatred and greed to have the last word. They were saying, in the most dim and grim times, you can lift your voice.
Coming together, the House of Labor, it was faith, it was labor, it was academia, it was all of them together. So the word of the day, the Freedom Budget for all Americans, go look it up. This is the blueprint for the types of things that we should be fighting for in this country, past, present, and future, baby. The Freedom Budget for all Americans. Dr. Weston, I count it all joy that you were here. We want you to understand your purpose, live your purpose, but above all, understand the titles are good, but purpose is better. Until next time.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
Oh my God. We did that, bro. Oh my God. We had so much fun.
For 90 days and says he will lower reciprocal tariffs He is also China to 125%. The move could raise prices, especially in Black communities already facing economic pressure. Florida's Board of Education has approved